In this project, we're going back to the conveyor system. We're still working on the conveyor system, and we will for most of the rest of this course. In this conveyor system, the most convoluted part of the logic would have been the rogue carton detection. Never mind the push button simulated for momentary open, momentary close. That was a little scan-dependent rungs. That was really more for fun than anything else. However, what we're going to do now is we're going to use a timer in our application to kind of enhance the rogue carton detection. So let's jump right in and have at it. In our previous project, M14, the practical application for the one-shot, you probably noticed that we used input 1 for 1 PE instead of input 2. Well, in the manual it was input 2 for M13 and for M14, so we're back to what it was in the manual. It really doesn't make any difference as long as you use the exact same memory location every place that it's used in the project, which it's really only used in one place. What we're doing here is something unique. This eliminates happy fingers in the first photo eye, 1 PE, because we're seeing that 1 PE does not detect an object until 3 seconds has passed, 3,000 milliseconds. And in the manual, we asked the question, how do you think that we determined the 3,000 thousandths of a second, or 3 seconds? What we did was we measured how long photo eye 1 was blocked by that normal size carton. So the normal size carton would not block the photo eye for a full 3 seconds. Let's say it's 2.5 seconds. So the carton would have cleared 1 PE before this TON timed out and turned on the input 2 delayed 1 PE, which means that it would behave just like a normal carton passing through 1 PE. It's clear, then it blocks 2 PE, which is input 3. All we're doing here is ignoring the photo eye 1 until it's seen 3 seconds of blockage. And at the end of 3 seconds, if it's still blocked, then it's also going to block input 2 by the 2 PE by that time, and you're going to declare a fault. So all you're doing is putting a delay on the logic, recognizing the optical path being blocked for 1 PE. That's all that's going on here. So let's save this and download it. We'll start our simulator first. I forget that more often than not. And download. Conveyor 1 motor is running. The conveyor is clear of cartons. So let's bring in a carton. Now remember that for the correct size carton, it will not block photo eye 1 for a full 3 seconds. So we actually have to clear 1 PE before we get to 3 seconds to properly simulate this. So let's turn on input 2, and you see we're timing, and then let's turn off input 2, and then turn on input 3. So no size fault, and then input 3 turns off. Now let's try that again with an incorrect carton size. We'll turn on input 2, and then we'll turn on input 3, and you see the conveyor stops. We've got a size fault and the conveyor stops. So this is really a very simple lab. There wasn't much to it, and it was just one way of integrating a timer into our growing conveyor application. And keep in mind that the preset time, if you want to call it the program time, has to be carefully considered for this to work properly. The main thing it does is that it ignores people walking by and just putting their fingers in it. So somebody walks up there and blocks photo eye 1 when photo eye 2 is blocked. Let's try that. So let's turn off, clear the photo eye. We'll reset by hitting the stop button. We clear the fault. Okay. Now we have to restart the conveyor. But let's say that there is something in the way of photo eye 2. If that were the case, without photo eye 1 being blocked, we wouldn't get a fault anyway, because remember that with this rising edge true if on in our rung 6, that the trains left the station after one scan of 2 PE being blocked. So all this does is delays whether or not it considers 1 PE on it. So if somebody walks by and just runs their fingers through there, this is what you're going to see. You just see a little burst of time, but it never times out. They'd have to have their fingers in there for longer than 3 seconds. If you wanted to, you could call this lab project the passing of time. What we were demonstrating was not something you might necessarily do in a real conveyor system where you were concerned about people passing their fingers in front of photo eyes or flagging it to see if they could mess it up. People do stuff like that, especially if it's in their department and they want to take a break and they want to mess up the system, cause a jam. Sometimes employees will do all kinds of crazy stuff, mess with the flow controls on a system to slow it down, speed it up. So this was not necessarily a practical application of a TON to reduce the sensitivity of the system. In other words, if passing fingers through it or hand through it, if it doesn't see it blocked for some specific length of time, then it ignores it. It's a very prominent technique in programming to stretch an event. Let's say you got a pulse coming in from some other area of the system, like downstream or upstream, that is a call for product, and it comes in and it's a 100 millisecond pulse. Well, you can stretch out that pulse with a TON or a TP type instruction. So that's all we were doing here in this application, was introducing the use of the TON in our conveyor system. We're trying to get everything into that little application before we leave it.